As you were leaving for your overseas trip, there were reports that were surfacing that your administration is planning to pay illegal immigrants who are separated from their families at the border up to $450,000 each, possibly $1 million per family. Do you think that that might incentivize more people to come over illegally?
If you guys keep sending that garbage out, yeah, but it's not true.
Ooh, well, President Biden says reports that his administration is going to consider paying $450,000 per person to migrant families separated under the Trump administration is garbage and not true. Well, this is as he encourages more Americans to get vaccinated amid his White House Chief of Staff Medical Advisor Senate hearing. Now, we have the perfect guest for all this. Joining us now is North Carolina Congressman and member of the House Veterans Affairs and Education and Labor Committees. He's also a ranking member of the Higher Education and Workforce Investment Subcommittee and is on the House GOP Doctors Caucus. Congressman Greg Murphy. Congressman, welcome, and thanks for having all these qualifications, being willing to talk about this. Yeah, your resume is like, multiple scrolls in the teleprompter. It's fantastic. So I am anxious to hear what you have to say, because Republicans in the House yesterday introduced a bill to block a reported plan by the Biden administration to pay these, what's going to amount to just a ton of money to illegal immigrants separated under the Trump administration. But President Biden is now denying those reports. Did he say it? Did he not say it? Where is this coming from? We didn't make it up.
Yeah, Rob, this is my God, we could talk about this for hours. Either this president is ignorant, either he's inept, or he's lying. This has happened so many times. He said he would never mandate people to get vaccinated. And what we've seen is now mandate. As far as this money goes, the Department of Justice, the ACLU called out Biden and said, oh, yeah, you're going to do this. This is what your Department of Justice is going to do. Maybe they just haven't informed you of what you're doing. And, this is a sad statement on the presidency of the United States, the most powerful position in the world, that he doesn't know what his own progressive government is doing. Right. And, good Lord, I think this action slaps the face of every American who is a citizen of this country, especially those who came in here legally, to pay people up to $500,000 to break the law of the United States. It reeks of just anti-Americanism, but that's what this presidency has been about.
Well, the first thing I thought about when I saw this, I was like, wow, if I was killed overseas when I was serving as a SEAL, they would have given my family $400,000, and they're going to give illegal immigrants $50,000 more than that for what?
It must be, Rob, that the wonderful trial lawyers of our country have negotiated some settlement with this administration. Hey, look, we'll take our 2/3 or whatever we did, and we'll settle on only $450,000 per person. I mean, this is just talk about a manufactured crisis. They manufactured one at the border with their actions, and now they're manufacturing a legal and financial debacle for the United States. It's tragic in this time of country. And I think America now, the woke America, especially what we saw in Virginia, has now woken up and seen what's going on.
Well, just for a comparison, too, the president of the United States makes $400,000 a year, so they're going to give him more than they're going to give these people more than that. But also, talking about manufactured crisis, Joe Biden, he says he's going to enforce a mandate that U.S. workers at companies with at least 100 employees will be vaccinated against COVID-19 or be tested weekly starting on January 4th. Now, as a congressman and a medical doctor, is Biden overstepping by doing this or not?
Well, Rob, let me tell you what's going to happen, because this is what the progressive left doesn't do. They make decisions based upon emotion. They don't think about the secondary, tertiary, quaternary consequences. Yeah. You're going to now throw hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people out of work. What does that happen? That means they lose their health benefits. What does that mean? It means they become impoverished. And one of the, quote, social determinants of health, poverty, makes people sicker. They delay health care. And it leads to higher morbidity, higher even mortality, more people dying. So, in fact, what they're trying to do to help people is actually probably in the end going to end up hurting, or if not killing people by their actions.
Yeah, well, that was the big thing, too, which I got when the COVID thing first broke out. The first thing they did was shut down all the gyms, which is the only place where people can go to actually get healthy. Well, not the only, but where people actually go to get healthier, which we know combats the virus. It all seems crazy to me. Thank you, Congressman Greg Murphy. We appreciate it.
Great. Rob, I will say one thing. If they do this to children, there's going to be the mamas who came out in Virginia are going to come out again, because this is just not necessary in your average healthy child.
I think you're absolutely right, sir. All right.
Take care.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.